Welcome back, True Seeker. It is a Saturday, the last Saturday of Saturnalia, as it happens, the ancient Roman festival connected to ritual sacrifice. And in the headlines, the Carter family has suffered another tragedy. And of course, we're talking about the family of Aaron Carter of the Backstreet Boys. He's now lost his third sibling. He lost his sister Leslie back in 2012. He lost his brother Nick Carter last year in November. And now, today, he's lost his sister Bobbie Jean Carter. And again, all of these siblings have died at young ages. Leslie was 25 years old. We call that the Giants number. She died right before the Giants won the Super Bowl. And last year, Nick Carter's death seemed to have to do a lot with the Houston Astros World Series, as we'll go back and revisit. And the sister, let's just look at specifically what happened with the sister today and the pattern with her passing and how it seemingly syncs with her brother's recent death from a little over a year ago. But if you're new here, Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. There's a song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. There's another song out there called Murder by Numbers by the Police, where killing is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Her name has a very familiar number. Bobbie Jean Carter equates to 67, like human sacrifice, like blood sacrifice. And again, she dies on this last day of Saturnalia, an ancient Roman festival connected to sacrifice. The mother, who's lost 3 of her children, Jane Carter, her name also has the gematria value of 67. And if you're asking how you get these numerical values, very simply, you take the alphabetic order and you apply numerology. And there are 4 base ciphers in the English language: the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Bobbie Jean Carter, human sacrifice and blood sacrifice all equate to 67 when you take the alphabetic order with numerology applied. So if you're new here, just so you understand how that works, B is the second letter of the alphabet, so B is worth 2. O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. The numerology of 15 is 1 plus 5 is 6. So O would be 6, B would be 2, B would be 2, I would be 9, E would be 5. You just add up each letter as a number. Bobbie Jean Carter, 67. Jane Carter equates to 67 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology. So the mother with this name gematria has lost 3 of her children. And again, here's the family where now 3 of the children in that photo are gone. And you can only wonder what it feels like to be the remaining children. But notice that Nick Carter, the most famous of the children because of the worldwide success of the Backstreet Boys, he's 43 years old right now. And 43 is a bit fateful in terms of gematria. RIP equals 43. Killing equals 43. The state that equals 43 is Florida, and that's where his sister died today. His sister was found dead at 43 in Florida, and of course, we've seen some 43 rituals in Florida over the years. Think of the election of Bush, where it came down to the state of Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor, and then he became the 43rd president, and his daddy was the 43rd vice president. And again, it's the same gematria knowledge that they rigged the elections with, that they murdered the celebrities by. That's why you learn this knowledge. You'll understand it's the Cabal code, thus how gematria comes from Kabbalah. But again, the sister today is dead in Florida, while the older brother is 43. Remember when Tom Brady went down to Florida at age 43 and won the Super Bowl? And you might recall the killings in the Yale Goatville neighborhood, as they called Brady the Goat, as he won the Super Bowl at age 43, when Yale also equals 43, where the Bushes went. And American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was in Skull and Bones like the Bushes. But important piece. And notice from Nick Carter's last birthday to this death is exactly 47 weeks, which is noteworthy because what is 47? Again, 47 is the number of time. And this death comes in the time of Saturnalia, where Saturn is the keeper of time, connected to death and judgment. But 47, very important number to the occult. And this nation was founded by the occult, which is something they don't teach us in our 13 years of slave school while we pledged to 13 stripes. But yes, it was, because nearly every founder was a Mason, and Masons are in the occult, and the Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid. Notice from Nick Carter's death, November 5th, 2022, in the bathtub, to this death, December 23rd, is 59 weeks later. In Jewish gematria, the word kill equals 59. And just to revisit Aaron Carter's death, he died at age 34. Murder has that gematria of 34 and 38, like drowned is 34 and 38. He was a rapper, which has the gematria of 34 and 38. Where he was found dead, Lancaster, CA, also has the gematria 34. And in light of him dying November 5th, 115, bathtub and killing equal 115. If you've ever seen my work on the death of Jim Morrison in the bathtub and what happened to his girlfriend who found him in the bathtub, how they both died in the same numerical ritual. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. If you have seen it and forgot, go back and revisit it. But fateful numbers here. And the other thing about him dying on November 5th, it was a Saturday as well when he died. The date can also be written 5/11. In Jewish gematria, Saturn equals 511. Now the sister dead in Saturnalia. And I did even put it here. The woman who found Jim Morrison in the bathtub, she died in 74 on the 115th day of the year. Morrison was born in 43. When Aaron Carter died last year, it was right after the Astros had won the World Series on the anniversary of the Astro World tragedy. And just notice how his name overlapped with Houston Astros. Mattress Mac had supposedly won $75 million on his bet for that World Series. Houston Astros, Aaron Carter, rituals and numbers. His full name, Aaron Charles Carter, 117, like Major League Baseball. When the Phillies lost that game to the Astros last year in the World Series, they got their 81st total loss of the season. Also corresponding. And again, we were looking at that because when his sister had died years earlier, a decade earlier, she died right before the Giants won the Super Bowl at age 25. And again, like I've told you guys a million times, Giants in 25, it plays so hard. We had a hunch that the Rams would win Thursday Night Football by 8 points, and they did. They won 30-22. The reason we thought they might win by 8 is because then they would go into the Giants game, which is their next game, with a score differential for the year of plus 25, which is exactly what they're doing. And just so you can see this with your own eyes, so you can understand this stuff's no joke and how literally the whole game is rigged by the cabal, the Rams' next game will be against the Giants. And let me pull up the ESPN NFL page real quick. For anyone who doubts this, you can Bills prevail and get to 9-6. Josh Allen, 96. But hold on. Let me show you the Rams score differential, just so you can understand how important this 25 number is to the Giants. Little Tommy DeVito's been having all kinds of big upsets since he took over, including just getting his latest upset in prime time the other week on Danny DeVito's 25th day of his age. But look at this here with the Rams. The Rams scoring differential for the year, points for, points against, they're plus 25 heading into the Rams game now. They won on Thursday Night Football. So if you're new here, 4-base ciphers, we call the Giants the 25 team. It plays with the baseball team. It plays with the NFL team. But when Leslie Carter died, she died at age 25 in New York, right as the Giants won the Super Bowl. Um, so we'll see if somehow this death here ends up factoring in to the world of sports, but this one's a little bit different because it's right next. It's not right next to a big championship game. So also in the headlines, the Spectator's reporting that Gaza Health Ministry just reported that over 201 people were killed in Gaza in the past 24 hours. If you're new here, it might not mean anything to you. If you're not new here, you already know exactly what it means. I'm the guy who's been working on my latest book about 201 for 3 years now. And 201 is the number of the Jesuit order and the Illuminati, which are the cabal. And it's also pretty much the number of Israel, which was clearly founded by the cabal, just like this nation was once upon a time. That's why the Illuminati was founded 64 days before this nation's establishment. In other familiar patterns, Ryan Miner, the man who replaced Cal Ripken, ending his record consecutive streak of games in baseball, the news broke of his death on Cal Ripken's 121st day of his age. We just talked about blood sacrifice in 67. Another common pattern with blood sacrifice is 121. I was just talking about the movie The Sacrifice Game, which came out this year, where people are trying to raise a demon to gain power. And the movie begins with an innocent family being just slaughtered in their home at address 121, which is no accident. Hollywood is very well the code because Hollywood is the cabal. And there was one other thing I wanted to say, but it has slipped my mind. So yeah, shoot, it slipped. You had the recent death of the 23-year-old woman in Las Vegas. You probably heard that story, murdered by an NBA G League player, but a 23-year-old woman in Vegas, that's curious. Las Vegas is 23 lands. Notice they're hosting the Super Bowl at the conclusion of the 23 season. First time Vegas has hosted a Super Bowl. This comment from Miss Dramatica, I'm just putting my eyes on the chat for the first time. I think this is right. I think this is correct, what this person has written. Demons are real, and many of these celebrities have demons attached to them that they evoked with rituals. And they might not realize that they did, but again, there's clearly some sorcery element to what is taking place with all of these celebrity deaths just continue to mount, especially this time of year, the time of the year where it's the death cycle in nature. And again, I mean, you just think about everything the cabal's done. They've changed the calendar, right? Again, we know who runs the world. It's the Catholic Church. That's why we're on their calendar. But once upon a time, the new year was celebrated when it was spring and things were anew. And now the new year is in the time of death. And every year when New Year's Eve rolls around and New Year's Day, there's just a pile of bodies, pile of celebrity bodies year after year, and nobody seems to blink an eye. And it usually happens around Christmas Eve and Christmas, but not as bad as New Year's. So we'll see what happens in the days ahead. Yeah. I remember when George Springer was interviewed after winning the World Series. That's exactly what he said. He said he totally blacked out and he couldn't remember a single thing about the World Series. And remember, George Springer was predicted years in advance by Sports Illustrated that not only would the Astros win that World Series, but that he would be MVP. Sports Illustrated wrote that years in advance. So, yeah, Kimbo Slice. Isaac Hayes, yeah, yeah. All deaths we've covered over the years. George Michael, Princess Leia and her mother. There's been a lot of them. Yeah, Jim Morrison, part of the 27 Club, the word ritual 27. Let's not forget Rush Limbaugh's death, how that worked out. He started his career announcing sports in Kansas City. He's dead right after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 54. The one where Kobe kicked the bucket the Sunday before, where Kobe Bean Bryant's 54 and so is Gianna. I did see that too. You're right. Yeah. Founding member of the Dixie Chicks is dead in a car crash. Laura Lynch, founding member of the country group the Dixie Chicks, has died. She was 65. And we've seen this before with musicians because what's the word music equal? 65, right? Made her name in music. Dead at 65. But music's also got that 34 going with Nick Carter's death at 34 last year. Right after the winter solstice, just yesterday that happened, December 22nd. I was trying to look up information on her, but I couldn't find her birthday or anything. So, but yeah, celebrity. The world of celebrity, very fateful. High risk of premature death in the world of celebrity, no doubt about it. Florida mall shooting, our Saturday mall shooting. Let's see. Remember, the two most common days of the week for mass shootings are Saturday and Wednesday. And again, it's because of Gematria. Saturday, 109 and 107, just like shooting, 109 and 107, just like military. And so often they say these guys are former military. Military also has that 44, like shooting. Shooting also has that 37, like Wednesday is 44 and 37. So. And then the thing about Mall's got the gematria 38, like death, like murder, like killing, like RIP. Oh, and while we're at it, like Florida. Florida's got the 38 and 43. We talked about Nick Carter being 43 when his sister's dead in Florida today. All right, just checking the chat real quick. One other thing about the surname Carter. Carter does have gematria of 43, and light of Nick Carter being 43 has the gematria 65 like music, but also the 97 because death has that 97. Because yeah, this family is having a lot of bad luck. And remember, 97 is the 25th prime number. Death does equal 97 and 25. The first tragedy in the family was Leslie Carter at age 25, right before the Giants won the Super Bowl. Leslie's also 62 like sacrifice. Oh yeah. The former Oriole who's dead, who replaced Cal Ripken. Again, the news broke on the 121st day of Cal Ripken's age, as we talked about, but it was also 73 days after the last game of the year by the Orioles that the news breaks about the death of the former Oriole. Familiar patterns that repeat over and over. Aaron Carter released his first album in December of 97. Was that with Backstreet Boys? Hold on, let's see. Is that what I feel like Backstreet Boys was before 97. They got 33 music videos, huh? May 6th, 96 is what I'm seeing for the first Backstreet Boys. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. Because I want to say I was about 12 or 13 years old. I remember my friend's older sister. Oh, she was just about old enough to drive, and she was all into them. So it's my memory of the Backstreet Boys, my friend's older sister. Backstreet's Back came out August 11th, 97. Maybe Aaron Carter has a solo album that year. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. Oh, look at that. December 1st, too. The anniversary of Aleister Crowley's death. 121. Would have been the 50th anniversary of Aleister Crowley's death. Aleister Crowley died on that day in the year 47. Now he loses his sister in this same month, December, 47 weeks after his birthday. I didn't realize that he had a solo career like that when Backstreet Boys was going on, huh? Like, what was his hit? I remember the Backstreet Boys being a big thing, but I don't remember like an Aaron Carter solo song from that period. Weird. Can't say I was ever a big Backstreet Boys fan or really following the music, but I'm just trying to think of like the solo effort on the radio. I don't remember that. Huh. Got a bunch of albums though. Look at him. Wow, look at this. Blacklisted came out 2 days after his brother's death. I didn't realize that last year. And we were talking about how his brother's full name equaled 117. And then the album came out on 11/7. Look at that. Aaron Charles Carter, 117. He's dead, and then 2 days later on 11/7. Wow. Hold up. What album number was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His sixth album, Saturn the Sixth Planet. His brother dead on a Saturday. Now his sister in Saturnalia. Wow. All right, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And by the way, you guys, I don't want to talk about the phone call I just got before I went live. But for anybody out here's what I'm gonna say to all you guys. Do not engage with the people who are trolling this community. My suspicions were confirmed about who's really behind these trolls tonight by the phone call I got. I'm not even going to elaborate on it, you guys, but just do not engage with the people who are trolling the community. Ignore them. And I'll put a clue to you this way. It was 7 years ago. I had a car crash through two walls of my house. And then it was a few days later, the same person who made that threat did a little story about me and a dead squirrel. And then a dead squirrel was left on my step. That person might have just called me on behalf of the people who are doing the trolling. And the purpose of his call was to ask the other people in this community who are engaging with the trolls to stop. And it's not that, you know, I want to follow this person's orders. It's just that I don't want weird things happening to you guys in your life. The network of people out there that do not like the things that we're exposing, that they do exist. And yeah, just don't give these people your time and energy. And yeah, so anyhow, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Have a good evening, and until next time.